Yes, it's time for Mariah. In the entire history of the US single charts, wait for this, the Beatles are at the top with 20 number ones, and Elvis and Mariah Carey are second equal with 17 number ones. So if Mariah's current single, Touch My Body, goes to number one, she'll move past Elvis, second on her own, only to the Beatles. No wonder she's such a confident old thing.
Touch my body, bring out curves, give me what I deserve, and touch my body, put me on your lap.
But sometimes Mariah is not that confident at all. A huge star from the outset. Her first 5 singles all went to number one. She collapsed in 2001 and almost lost the plot completely. Her album, The Emancipation of Mimi, was an extraordinary comeback. And in a fortnight, her new album, E=MC², is out. But let's go back almost 2 decades to when this kid came from nowhere to megastardom. I asked her if she still remembers the first time she heard one of her own songs on the radio.
Yes, I do. I was in New York in a car with a friend, and I heard Vision Above, my first ever single. So it was a pretty incredible moment for me, you know, because I was where I grew up, hearing the song on the radio that I grew up listening to, you know, so it was amazing. But it's still like that. Putting out a new single is still like, we're heard on the radio, turn on, you know, whatever station, because everything, you know, that I do, I really put so much of myself into, so it's not like it's ever going to be like, oh, here we go, the song's on, cool, you know.
Well, it's great, the excitement's still there, but in a funny way, I suspect the pressure's much greater now. In 2001, it almost got to you, and you lost it for a while there, and then The Emancipation of Mimi was such a comeback. Do you think that made you more three-dimensional in a way? Had people stopped thinking you were real, Mariah?
Maybe there is a little bit more of a sense of, okay, well, she hasn't had, like, the easiest thing, you know. She hasn't had the easiest road in the world, because people make such a huge deal out of, like, scandals, and they really want to, you know, they love to harp on something for a million years because it sells papers. But I mean, my fans have always been, like, my true fans have always been here for me. They've always been supportive. I mean, it's like the bar was set very high, so it's like, you know, yes, you do have to go through peaks and valleys, or it's not a normal situation, but people don't want to see, if they see you being a little bit down, it's like they're ready to kick you. So you just have to get back up and have faith. And honestly, to me, it's like all things are possible with God. That's what I truly believe. And, you know, if people, I'm a living example that anything's possible, because people want to write you off. You can let them write you off. It doesn't matter, as long as you don't write yourself off and you don't lose your faith.
Your mum always had faith in you, right? Your mum, who taught you opera when you were a little girl, I think 3 years old, and she worked 3 jobs to bring you up and totally backed you always. Tell us about your mum, Mariah.
Well, you mentioned that she was an opera singer before, and she also sang and sings jazz and all different types of music, and she definitely had music throughout my house while I was growing up, and, you know, she was very supportive of me in my dream of becoming an entertainer.
Boy, she must be so proud of you now.
Yeah, I'm sure it's pretty cool for her, because I think she named me, like, to have as a stage name, basically.
Yeah. Let's talk about Mariah Carey, that stage person. Here you are in Paris on the media roundabout again, talking to London, New Zealand, you name it. Does this part of the job get a bit tiresome for you, Mariah?
Well, honestly, sometimes, yes, it is thoroughly exhausting. And the funny thing is, people probably think that this isn't a job. You know what I mean? But, you know, when you do have to promote and you do travel around the world, yeah, there's like a glamorous element to it, but not after like the 8th day on a promo trip where you're doing 20 things a day. But fortunately, I found like somewhat of a balance in terms of just keeping the schedule, so it's cool, you do your work, you know, and then you come home, and like if I get to talk to somebody like you, who's nice and who actually cares, that, because I know your schedule must be, you know, kind of tough too, so you're probably figuring that, knowing your schedule, mine is even worse, right?
Yeah, mad, I suspect. Which brings us, of course, to the new CD, E=MC², Mariah Carey. You know, make your Oscar speech. Are you proud of it, the CD?
I am very proud of the record. I spent a long time working on it. And that's how I kind of do everything that I do. I'm there from the inception of the idea of the song, writing it, collaborating, creating, and moving on all through like the mastering process. And it's just a blessing to be able to work with people that I really care about, and who are really like work really hard at the record company, like, and just understand music. Like L.A. Reid is a musical genius, and it's just an honor for me to work with him. I'm fortunate now to be in a great place where I really love the people that I work with, and they understand me musically. And Jermaine Dupri's there too, so like everything's lovely.